Так, сейчас. Here is the link.
Nice. Give me a sec, I will post it everywhere, okay?
Sure.
And we will start. Thanks. Okay, it is on Discord. It is on Twitter. And give me a second, the last one is going to be Facebook. And I will open it myself, just to see me and you.
Yeah, check please that the translation is nice and you can hear both our voices.
Give me a second. Well, can you say anything?
Sure, I'm saying something. Just roll on.
Anton, can you please try to open it yourself? Because if I'm not mistaken, it is a link to our Russian here in this stream.
Okay.
Can it be so?
Sure. 1 minute, please. Okay, so...
Delete it?
I mean, it was just that the new link just didn't manage to appear. Okay, here it is.
Then give me a second.
Just... Okay.
I should delete the posts on Twitter.
Okay, please have a look at this one.
Yep, give me a second. Give me a second. Yeah, it's alright. It is the right one. Thanks, Anton.
You're welcome.
And now it's right. Now it is on Discord. And
is the the whole the whole stream is working properly on YouTube? Could you hear the voices?
True.
Okay.
It's all good.
Oh, okay. So I think it's high time we start the stream, right?
Yeah, I need only 1 second. And I'm going to be with you. Has anyone come already?
I just looking in the chat and I don't know if there is any counter for participants of the stream.
Yeah, sure. Probably you can see it. It is at the bottom, but no, actually, no one right now. So we are waiting, and I'm going just to correct the link in Facebook then.
Okay.
Still have a second. What? Yeah, Moron has come, so we have at least one person watching us. Hi Moron, we are very glad to see you here. Can you please give us a hint? Can you hear us properly? Are there any problems with the sound or something like this?
Yeah.
Or maybe with the video?
Yeah. And we will appreciate your feedback because it's not our just general duty to make a QA stream. That's why we just may face some technical issues, but hopefully none of them take place right now.
Yeah, we are not very experienced streamers, unfortunately. Maybe fortunately, I don't know.
Well, we're game developers first.
Yeah, sure.
But nowadays I could say that it's a very nice skill for any game developer to be good with streaming, posting and all other things connected with social media.
It's true. We have a comment that everyone can hear us. Okay, then it's good and we can start, right?
Sure, let's get it started. Hi guys, thanks for joining us. I hope it's not really early hour. Could you just for we are interested, what are your cities and time zones you are watching us right now? Because we need to figure out the time which would be nice for most our community members and we just need some kind of data to deal with.
Yeah, but it would be nice to know it because it is our first open Q&A stream, and it is our first experience of such format. For the future, it would be nice to know if it is convenient for you to watch us at this particular time, or we should switch it to some time, probably. Okay, Anton, I think that we should say hello, right?
Sure.
And hello, Raiders and Beasts. We are really glad to see you today, and it is our first Q&A stream, which is open. And it is our actually first stream in 2022, right?
Right. In English.
Okay. In English, yeah, we had the Russian one before that. So we are with you today, and I'm Julia, a community manager of Beast Tower, and this is Anton. Anton, can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Anton. I'm a creative director of BH Studio and of Beast Hour project. So actually, I am here today for you in order to answer all the questions you might have about the game, our team, and all the development process. Also, just feel free to ask some off-top questions. I just need to say that, of course, we're just here today to discuss Beast Tower, but if you wanna ask something else, which is game-related or with somehow maybe corresponding with the game development in general, feel free to ask these questions. We would do our best to give you the best information and answers you may need. Julia, just one thing I just noticed.
Yeah, okay.
You see, could you please, okay, I think I'll do it. Just give guys short summary of what we are going to discuss today, and I'm just going to fix one technical issue with the YouTube stream. I fear we have a mistake in our description. Just 1 second, guys, please.
Oh, really? Okay. Guys, so first of all, the main thing that we are going to do today is to communicate with you, because we had a feeling that we have some lag in it and we would like to talk to you more. So please don't be ashamed to ask your questions, any questions about the game, or maybe some off-top questions that you are interested in. We will read all of them and we will answer all of them for sure. But we have some plan that we are going to stick to. So we are going to give some history, some backstory of 2021 and what happened to the game during this year, and our plans for 2022. Just as the beginning of our traditional Q&A streams with you, and just to give you some general information and just to start the whole thing. But if you have some questions, please write them, and we are going to make a pause in our plan and just answer all of your questions and then return to our plan. Right?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm back here, just fixed the issue which I just found. Okay, I think that we should get started. The guys, I see that Meron says that there is some weird noise in the background. Meron, honestly speaking, we just don't know why it takes place sometimes. I think that some problem may be with one of our mics. We hope to fix this problem soon, as we are gonna get some better equipment. I can't be sure that it will be a quick solution, but we're working on it because, you know, we want to be streams nice to hear. Sorry for this inconvenience.
So personally, I'm going to change my mic next month. Actually, I will be with a new one on the next stream. So, Anton, if it's this weird noise returns the next time, it's on you.
Yeah, I think I would have to fix this problem.
Yeah, but probably it's me this day. I don't know. Okay, so let's just start with the first question. Okay, let's just start with our plan.
Sure, of course.
Since we have no questions so far. Okay, so as I've mentioned, it's our first open Q&A stream in 2022, and we would like to start this year by summing up the past year and sharing our plans for the future. Because 2021 was really turning point for many game aspects, and we would like to highlight most of them. Anton, let us start with the most general, with the main thing. What is the most important accomplishment of 2021 for you, and why?
I think that generally speaking, we can talk much about the accomplishments of the past year. I believe that generally speaking, and we have a huge Steam post. So Julia, if you could give a link to this post in the description, or maybe just in the chat, so people can have a look at it, it would be nice because it's a very prepared and thorough description of the changes that took place during the last year. Well, actually, we got a new character, fully playable, not just introduced into the game as some kind of a skin or some placeholder, but generally Yudoko, the character from which you can see on the screen, the female raider. She got introduced. Also, we worked much on the map. It just changed drastically during the year and become just better looking and far more convenient for gameplay. Well, but and I could just mention many other things about that, like we launched Steam page, we started building our community, we, I believe, are presented in almost any huge and popular network where you can find our regular posts and ask questions.
Anton, we're going to talk about it a little bit later.
Yeah, sure, I'm sorry about that. So, well, game-wise, I would just sum up saying that we actually are just on the straight road to the alpha testing, because I believe the things we are mostly working on now are some bugs, some maybe gameplay fixes. I mean, not generally the figuring out what kind of the idea should be put forward into the game, but how this or that mechanics should work a bit better, some kind of polishing. And of course, networking solutions, which are really crucial for us to start the alpha test. So, just sorry for repeating myself, but it's that we are coming closer to the alpha testing, and it's, I believe, the most important thing, because we worked hard several years preparing the game, and it took us quite efforts to do it, because we are a full indie team. So I'm really excited, and our team is excited about showing you the game and getting your hands on it, so we can get more feedback. And I personally just dreaming about times that I could play the game far more often than I do it right now, because we just run team-based playtests, and they are very few. And I just want to play the game every day. I can't, of course, promise that alpha testing would take place every day during this period, because it's all the things we should figure out about servers and all the pressure which is done on the system. Well, but I really want to play with our community and to see how they react to this and that aspect of the game.
Yeah, that's true. We should remember that we have to focus on three things that you mentioned. It is a new character, the map, and our social media, right?
Sure, I believe this is main things.
Yeah, I believe that the main accomplishment for you, for me, in terms of the game, that I actually joined the team. I believe that it is no secret, and I'm really happy to be with you today, guys, and to be with you every day, answering your comments or talking to you on the social media channels and things like that. I'm really glad that I'm here. But, Anton, can we make a little pause before that and answer the questions that we have in the comments on YouTube already?
Sure. How many people belong to your studio? I'll lose a wolf. Sorry if I mispronounce your nickname. So we frequently get this question in the comments and from different guys who help us with interviews and invite us to take part in some shows and some podcasts. We usually say that about 10 people. What it means that we are, as I've said, indie team, and that's why very few our members can afford working full time. So we can't say that everyone can be present in the development just every day. Some people sometimes even help us with exact things. For example, we are really thankful to a friend of ours who helped us with creating a website of the game, because making a website, even a small one, turned out to be not an easy thing. and this person just helped us out enormously. So we just so happy that we have friends and colleagues of ours who can do things like this for us. That's really important. That's why we, as I've said, say that about 10 people. That's the amount of developers that take part in our project.
Okay, thank you, Anton. And the next question is first of all, a very general thing and the backstory of the game. How did you come up with the idea for our game?
Well, it's the thing. I believe you can find a lot of interesting stories and facts in different posts about Bestow, which we do in our social media, like Steam. Well, to make the story short, because I just can talk about it for several hours. Once just I had some kind of well, actually usually most of our ideas are based on our experience, and somehow we managed to mix it together to get something new or at least fresh. So we had several sources of inspiration, like such game as Prince of Persia: Warrior Within, Dead by Daylight, Bloodborne, or Order 1886. So, and it all together mixed into some kind of vision, which I had once in the morning, that should be some kind of a gothic castle where werewolves are chasing humans, you know, really quick, nimble guys who know how to use parkour, people who are usually called tracers. And in terms of references, which I've mentioned, Dead by Daylight was an actual idea of one player chasing another. Visually wise, Order 1886 and Bloodborne formed it into a kind of, you know, this dark steampunk setting, and all these things which we are usually also draw inspiration from World War One. Because from my point of view, it's true steampunk war where very unusual and terrifying things appeared. For example, our character, Yudoko hero, she is a kind of person dealing with poisonous gas, and actually World War One was the first huge conflict where the chemical weapons were used as well, a terrifically efficient weapon. So she's a kind of a mixture of a member of Red Cross, you know, these brave women who were saving soldiers on the battlefield, and also a person who is dealing with this leather weapon. So it was just a kind of, you know, I hold this mixture of things which were coming together, and actually the whole idea, well, as it was in the very beginning and as it is now, is simple. It's ninjas versus werewolves. So it's a kind of a thing which always is a guiding line for us whenever we're taking this or that decision. So I think, in short, it would be a full answer for this question.
Yeah, thanks, Anton. Let us go further then. Guys, please don't be ashamed to ask your questions. It's really fun. I'm sorry for a little bit of Russian in the comments. I was just giving directions to the Russian stream because we had one not that long ago. Yeah, and we had have a huge part of the Russian community among our subscribers.
Yeah, we actually got an idea today that we should call this because, you know, we ran our streams on Saturday, so that's why we may use a hashtag Stream Saturday for all such kind of event like that.
Yeah, that would be nice. There is one more question on screen right now. A werewolf has a blue lightning bracelet, yup, and is collecting blue things from the map to get more bracelets. What are these things? Wow, you are really very attentive, I should say. That
Yeah,
you've noticed that these bracelets appear when the beast collects some blue things, which is actually Arcana, but Anton, I'm giving you the stage, sorry.
Okay, so you see actually the whole lore of the game, which we are not ready to talk much about right now because it's a kind of secret thing which we want to keep a mystery for our community. So you can follow our networks, then you'll be able to play the game, and you'll get all the small clues to figure out what's going on in this world and what's happening in this exact place, which you can see right on the screen. Gameplay wise, all this blue substance is called Arcana in general. There are several types of this substance on the map which you collect in different ways, and it has different influence on raiders and beasts. Generally speaking, it's a way to level up for raiders and to level up a bit for beasts and get some buffs. One of these buffs is that when you gather Arcana, you start getting this, as you have said, blue bracelets on the arms, which are spent when you hit a target, increasing your hitting power. So it's a kind of way for a beast to empower itself for some time, to be ready for the next fight and implement more damage. Especially if in the game, as we have in the game, the in-game level progression, so you are leveling up during the session, and if you stay behind your opponents, it's a kind of a way to fight for some time on the same level with your beast competitors. So the more there is a limited amount of this power you can get, so it's 5 charges which you can be equipped with. That means that your first 5 strikes or any ways of dealing damage would be really powerful. So if you catch your even higher level opponent unaware, you'll be able to get an upper hand in the fight.
Yeah, thank you, Anton. Another question, but it's again from the very general thing. I even think that probably we have to make the next stream very general, you know, with general basic info about our game, because a lot of questions. So Maron asks, from what I've already managed to learn is that the game is a free-for-all where the last person alive wins, and from what it looks like the beast has a better stamina, climbs better, climbs faster, and what kind of advantage does the raider have that can help him with facing the werewolves? So it's just a question that we face quite often on our social media channels, like why do people play raiders?
Okay, so it's I think it's a very important question, because actually it's our idea why the game should be interesting in general. Well, first of all, let's start with some core things. Like it's common knowledge that all children like to play such games as hide and seek and run and catch. Yeah, that's why when you run away from other people, actually you don't have anything to put against them, because they just can touch you and, well, curse you or make you the one who should be running after other people. And still this is interesting. Somehow it turns out that there are huge amount of players, huge percentage of players, it's better to say, who like to run away from somewhere and find it really fun. The good example of such a game is Dead by Daylight, which I've mentioned earlier as one of our references. And it's common knowledge, and devs usually tell it straightforward during their interviews, that most players of DBD like to play the ones who run away. It's, well, coursing. Secondly, raiders, yes, they are limited with their parkour. They have to take into account gravity. They should use different mechanics like jump offs, like climbing by the corner, and so on and so after. So you should know how parkour mechanics works in order to be good at it. And actually it turns out to be really fun, because you are getting some strategic thinking of how I should get to this and that place, because you can't get there just like that. And secondly, you should be good at game mechanics. So good with your fingers and good with your back brain. And it's really fun to do things because you practice and you feel yourself to getting better, better, and better, because Beast Tower is a skill-based game. And thirdly, raiders and beasts have different gameplay. Beasts are after hunting, tracking, chasing, and killing things, while as raider you are about finding and completing quests. You are about leveling up and unlocking new abilities and deciding whenever you want to be more, you want to become faster, you want to be harder to kill, or you want to be more offensive based character. So you should choose about it. And these abilities are giving really an advantage to raiders, because beasts don't level up abilities. They do have all their main abilities, which pretty few at the very beginning, and they can't improve them during the game, but they do level up their HP and their damage. And by the goal of the game, raiders differ from beasts. Beasts are pretty predator-like creatures, and if a person chooses to play this character, he or she is likely to be after killing and hunting things, as I have said earlier. And the only way for a beast to win is to become the only alpha predator on the map, meaning to stay the one who survives. While raider has a choice to escape by completing a pretty tough but possible quest by the end, and it's possible for several raiders to escape in the end of the match if they, well, somehow are at the same level of play and can outplay beasts. So raiders are about being a kind of, ninja-like people who both have agility skills but still can fight back. And also they have an option not to fight at all and escape. It's a very important thing, and we can talk about it maybe later, because we did our best to give opportunities for all people to feel themselves nice in the game, where you can choose the strategies that fit you most. So you can run or you can fight. It's up to you what strategy to use. And also, as we have a very interesting system of response, meaning at the beginning of the game you have limited response, and if you die you just after some time return to the game. So if you want to learn how to fight, you're not limited with one life, and you have different chances to try different strategies, and you are not limited with the thing, oh, if I die I lose immediately. Not, it's not like that. At the first I've been maybe first 75% of the game.
Yeah, I would second you on this question, because, and I may be not that subjective, because I am a fan of DBD and I main survivors there, and I main raiders in Beast Tower, and I believe that the most attractive thing in Beast Tower playing as a raider is that you can actually choose your game, your strategy, because even inside the team, among our team members, we have very different strategies. For example, I prefer to run and escape and hide somewhere, and we have people in the team who really can fight beasts and raiders and everyone else, and
at the same time even.
Yeah. So I believe that it is very interesting to play as a raider, honestly. But maybe I'm not that subjective, because I even main survivors in Dead by Daylight, and they are not that dangerous there as raiders in Beast Tower.
Yeah, and also it's a very important thing that in Beast Tower you have no allies, and it creates tons of interesting situations, because raider can even fight raider, and fight raider versus raider is pretty different than fighting a beast, and even running away playing a raider, and if you get chased by some raider who due to some reason wants to revenge you or just take you away from some cool amount of Arcana, you just have absolutely different experience of gameplay, and I think it's really cool. Because we believe multiplayer games to be interesting by providing the situations and emotions which people then can keep in their memories and share with their friends as just all the stories about, remember I was playing and the situation took place and I choose this and that decision and it was really cool. For me personally, it's the main thing why I do play multiplayer games, because you're actually doing some kind of the same activity on the same surroundings with same characters, but the situations are so different and fresh that you just keep playing, playing, and playing. I believe it's the same way, the same thing why people keep playing football and basketball for over a century.
Indeed. Anton, we have a really interesting question, by the way. Are there any Russian werewolf legends which inspire your game?
It's a question which we once got answered when we were giving an interview for a Spanish-speaking sport magazine. They had part of their of their magazine where they were talking about games and cybersport. They got interested in Beast Tower and asked us for an interview, and they also asked about werewolf legends in Russia, and I was caught a bit, unprepared, because I think that it's, if you are not really good with history, and I believe some folklore history of Russian culture, it's hard to remember one easily, because most fairy tales which we are told in childhood, and all these cartoons and children books, they have very few stories of people turning into wolves. Usually they turn into bears. And if we talk about fairy tales, usually when a person is turned into a bear, it's a kind of a curse which he got for his or her sins, and should do some good things for quite a time in order to return back his or her human form. But if you dig deeper into old legends, there are stories about warriors and even warlords, which are called knyazes in Russia, who had this ability to shapeshift, and they were not really werewolves, but mostly warlocks or sorcerers who had this kind of magic, which allowed them to be successful in battle and protecting their homeland. That's why I may say that there are some kind of a different bias and attitude to shapeshifters in Russian fairy tales, that they are not pure evil. To some extent, they are those who protect and use this ability to take away some threat and grief from their close ones. Well, it's the things which I had to look through when I got this question previously.
Yeah, I just believe that werewolves are not that popular in
Where bears
Russia.
are far more popular.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and Loser Wolf says that, yeah, he or she, I'm not sure, guys, I'm sorry, a wolf historian by hobby, but the knowledge is limited to stories told in the English language. Yeah, maybe werewolves just not as popular in Russia as they are in the British culture.
I believe that the problem is just because the nature, the animals and all the landscape which is presented in UK and other English-speaking countries, that mostly all the legends about werewolves come from typical old world countries like Germany, and I believe bears are not really widespread there, and wolves are. And in Russia, bear is a kind of a national symbol, is a kind of an animal the country is usually associated with. That's why I believe stories about shapeshifting into a bear is far more popular in Russian-speaking countries.
Yeah, true. Another question. Anton, do we have any plans after the official release of the game? Okay, it's like very far plans, but still, would you like your game to show on the competitive scene?
Okay, so guys, I believe that one of our main strong points as a team, as our policy in community management, as we do our best to be frank and honest with you and to say things as they are. So I just want to say that we try our best not to give any promises far in advance because we don't want to break them. And plan-wise, I can say that we do have lots of ideas which can be done in the game in terms of game mechanics, content, and all other interesting things. But we usually tell our plans as soon as they get into the development. So we almost 100% sure that we are gonna do it because we're already working on this and that feature, on this and that content. So, but what I can say, I would like to formulate into a way that you just get the idea that we really want to make more characters into the game because it's usually the thing which most members of our focus groups usually ask for, make more characters. How we gonna do it and what these characters are gonna be, it's hard to say right now, but we had quite a sum of ideas about that, and we would do our best to implement them as soon as possible. And speaking about competitive scene, guys, we should be frank with one another that in order to turn the game into cybersport, you should provide prizes for teams who play your game, because for them it's a job. They spend all their time learning how to play this or that game, how to become better, and it's actually what these people are paid for. So if you don't offer any prize money, it's impossible to be a cybersport. And we as a team are not, well, we are indie team, and currently we are not ready to provide any prize money for sportsmen. Maybe if there would be some opportunity to, collaborate with somebody about that, with some company, with some organizing of cybersport competitions, we would consider this opportunity. But currently it's hard to say. Secondly, I can't say that I'm a huge expert about cybersport, but and actually if people like some games, they can think of any type of rules to make a competition because they want just to have a competition and they don't care much whenever it's a sport or a no, because usually in a sport it's a good idea to have a symmetrical teams, symmetrical rules, and all things like that. So to get rid of any misluck or maybe any upper hand due to rules or some positions, so that people are equal and only their skills, their reflexes and their knowledge makes the difference. Beast Tower is an asymmetric game. That's why it's hard to provide the situation when everyone is equal 100%, because the rules for players are different. I mean, we do our best to preserve the balance, but the balance which is fun for players, so that they feel that they can get an upper hand with any character and get a solution to any situation. But cybersport is a very different thing. And well, maybe at some point we may consider this opportunity I've said before, but in what way it would be presented, I don't know. But as we have checked out and learned that there is even competitions for on Dead by Daylight, which really don't look like a cybersport game, but still the people compete. That's why I think there is no limits, and if we would, as I've said before, have such an opportunity, we of course will consider it and decide how this should be done.
All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others, right, Anton?
Especially when you have fangs and they don't.
Yeah, maybe we should say it like all beasts are equal, but some beasts are more equal than others.
Yeah,
Uh,
because I'm sorry, Julia, for interrupting you,
Yeah.
but I just want to continue because we have different types of gameplay. One is about running away, and another is about chasing. So if it's a cyber sport, then we should have, I believe, maybe two disciplines: who is the better beast and who is the better raider, and it's already confused. That's why for me it's currently hard to see how Beastow can be a cyber sport. But people imagination and creativity has no limits. So that's why I think it's possible to find solution even in this situation.
Indeed. Anton, we have a nice question which is actually returning us to our plan. So we are currently watching a female character on the stream. It is Yudoko for sure. What can you tell us about her? And I want to make a short remark that Yudoko was added to the game in 2021, right?
Sure.
Yeah, so it was one of our biggest accomplishments in 2021.
Indeed,
And yeah,
indeed, it's true.
Can you give us brief information?
So I think that just at the very beginning of the stream, I've already said a few words about her. Sorry for if I'm repeating myself, but I believe that maybe some people just joined us right now and they haven't heard it. That's why I would just say a few words. So Yudoko, she is a female raider. And the main idea of her gameplay and visual was inspired by World War I, when there was such an organization as the Red Cross, where usually women were serving as I say the sisters of misery, if I'm not mistaken. Something like that. So actually they were
Sisters of Mercy, probably.
Sisters of Mercy, right, sorry for this. I mean, they were in charge of giving medical help to soldiers in hospitals and even on the battlefield, just when shooting took place and bombs were exploding. So they were really brave women and who played a huge and just contributed great part of reducing the victims and saving lives. And that's why her image was a kind of such a woman serving in this order. And also, as you know, all the medical workers who were, at the very beginning, nuns were in charge of serving people as doctors. That's why her image has some kind of, this cape. And also her weapon is poisonous gas. And as you know, in World War I, it was first time this poisonous gas was used as a weapon. So we decided to mix it together. So it's a contrast of a person who should be saving lives, but using a weapon that is the best tool of killing living beings. That's why it was a kind of an idea of a character generally. And then we were relying on our experience in different games and the whole idea of helping her to be both offensive and good at escaping. So she's throwing all this gas which leaves these poisonous clouds. She is can turn into a gas state phantom, taking little damage and being unable to die. And in this stance, she can leave a poisonous trail behind her. And also she has an ability to use double and triple jumps. And as the final way of attacking or defending herself, she can blind her opponents with a special gas. And also we had some good references from Catwoman of Batman series, where we were, watching what kind of animations, movements and poses she should use while performing all these parkour tricks. Especially if you can check her hard landing, you'll just get some other references of super heroines of different universes.
And if I'm not mistaken, you are a fan of Batman series, right?
Sure, as you are too.
Yeah. Can you show us your cup, please?
Yeah. I just can show that I'm just a big fan.
I know that it is somewhere nearby.
Yeah. Because it turns out that all my red T-shirts I have some Batman prints.
Yeah. Okay, Anton, let us switch to another question then. So we've discussed the characters that we added to the game. Can we please talk a little bit about the map? People who follow our interviews, who follow our news, know that we reworked the map at some point. And we reworked the concepts in general, to be honest, but it's just another question. Let us talk about the map. So, why did you decide to change it, and what was changed on it?
Okay, so as I've said from the very beginning, we're making a multiplayer game. A multiplayer PvP game is more like a sport competition rather than a movie or TV show which you are watching because of beautiful visuals or because of some interesting story which is told to you and where you perform a kind of a role which is written for you by a game designer and the development team. That's why when we were changing the map, we were relying on things which are important, first of all, gameplay-wise. First of all, we needed a good topology, so it's nice and easy to move around and you can be 100% sure that you have space to perform parkour tricks, and when you jump from this or that building, you will land to the point where you're actually going to land. So we are figuring out all these heights and distances in order to fulfill all these goals. Secondly, we needed to make a kind of an understandable, markup, if you can call it, so you can, at the very easy, just with a glance, understand at what part of the map you are right now. That's why we divided the whole area in 5 districts, with every district having some unique feature. For example, we have an ever-burning district, which Julia usually likes to talk about, which is a kind of a strange part of the city, of this haunted city, which is always burning but can't be burned to ashes. Also, which you can see on the screen right now, we have a kind of a district covered with huge vegetation and all the strange chemicals which are on the ground. And we have some more which you can see during the stream of ours right now. So just write in the comments what are the interesting districts with what unique features you've noticed. So it was mostly gameplay goals which we were after, and only then we were working on visuals as a part of making the game beautiful. That's why we just spent time, to create all these interesting places, to bring some details, some small landmarks to emphasize the uniqueness of areas, of zones. That's why we had to work quite a lot on the map and redo some things in order to achieve all the things which I've just talked about.
Yeah, and we continue working on the map for sure, but adding some little beautiful things. Anton? Yeah, I won't give any spoilers, but something really beautiful is happening right now on the map.
Yeah, we've already talked about it because during the previous streams that fortunately or unfortunately, decide it yourself, whenever we put a new footage, whenever we make a new trailer, it's just at the very second after we upload it or just brought it together or just shot some footages, it's already somehow doesn't resemble the whole coolness of the map, because the map is developing every day. It becomes more and more interesting with more and more details, with more and more refinements. So, but I believe that the current video which you are watching right now, it gives you a good idea of what's going on in the game. It's really close to the things we are working right now. But in multiplayer games, you never stop working on the map, because you find, apart just from fixing bugs and some inconveniences for players which they ask for or our QA team figures out, you also want to make things more and more interesting, and more ideas come to you after some time and after you get feedback and after you play more with real people. I mean, not just with your team, but actual players who haven't seen the game before, because we've been developing Beast Tower for quite a time, and that's why a fresh look is always a nice thing to have.
Yeah, and as I'm watching the footage now, I see that there are some things that we haven't even shown on our social media channels yet. Some new mechanics, and probably we're going to have some questions after the stream asking what was that, guys? What is it? How do we use them? And things like that, because we haven't yet highlighted them.
Yeah, if you watch carefully at the video, you will notice some interesting mechanics which we hadn't shown yet. I mean, you may notice maybe them on some kind far background at some of our GIFs and screenshots,
Or
but
TikToks.
or TikToks, yeah, just we have a TikTok and it's pretty cool. I believe that just today we have a record, some very good stats on one of our videos, right, Julia?
Yeah, right. It has gained 32,000 of views. Thanks, guys, for watching. I believe that there are some of our TikTok viewers here as well.
Yeah, so because guys, I just need to say that every like, every view, every share, every comment which you give us is really crucial, because nowadays, unfortunately, it's not enough to make a good game. It's necessary to promote it in a good way, and social media are just, well, our main thing for doing that. That's why please support us in social media, and if you wish to help us even more, just join our Patreon. We have many cool things there, so check it out, please.
Yeah, Anton. As long as we've started talking about social media channels, let's just talk a little bit about our history on this field in 2021.
Mhm.
So, what was done on the social or on the communication with the subscribers field?
Well,
What happened there?
okay, so I think it's the question which actually you are far familiar with than I, because it's your
Probably, yeah.
yeah, your main duty, a part of other many things that you do for the project. But generally speaking, the main thing is that last year we launched our Steam page, we launched our trailer, and we spent around 2 months making a trailer, and it wasn't a kind of outsource which we gave to someone. It was done by our team, and we only got help from our friend who is a professional how it's called, well, a person who's in charge of, you know, he's a kind of a operator, so he's a professional in shooting videos for games and making videos for games. That's why he was in charge of working with the camera, with bringing together all the footages so they would fit into the rhythm of the music and into the rhythm of the action. But it was just done by our team, so everything that you can read in the trailer is done with our colleagues. And also, apart from this, I think the hugest achievement, we launched almost every social media channel among the huge one and most popular. Even we decided by the end of the year that we should be presented in TikTok and even in Facebook. Because, you know, you never can be 100% sure which network is more convenient for this or that person, and we want you to have no problem with finding information about Beast Tower.
Yeah, true, guys. And again, we are almost on every social media channel. You can find us anywhere that is convenient for you. I don't know, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Discord, almost every social media that exists in this world. We are there, and we are ready to talk to you there, and we post daily. Yeah, so please just join us, and we would be very grateful for every like, every comment you leave. Okay, Anton, so let us sum 2021 up. Do you consider it successful for the game?
I believe it to be very successful for the game because you know uh, it it moved us forward, really forward. By the end of the year, we could just be sure that the game is looking as a game and not as a prototype, because we figured out many issues, we solved many problems, and the game is fully playable. Yeah, we do have some things with the game interface which we are currently working hard on, and maybe at some point you will see a newer version of the UI. I can't promise it just that it would happen in fast, but I think that we'll manage to show you what we've done in terms of game interface. And also we are started even working on such things as the game lobby. I mean, when you just enter the game client and you do see not just some blank screen with technical windows and buttons for development team, but it looks like, well, as if you're just logging into any modern PvP game, and you're seeing some kind of a menu, some things that you're already got used to in other games. So it's a kind of shifting up into a finished thing. But I think the word finished can be applied to any multiplayer game because it's being developed all the time it exists. That's why I think for us it's a kind of a new step of quality and general gaming experience. And of course, I think that we figured out our gameplay rules, and they are fun, and we have made some closed focus groups to check it, and people find the gameplay interesting and thrilling. That's why I'm really excited to get the alpha as soon as possible, so you can get your hands on the game and give us your feedback. It would be really cool.
Yeah. A quick reminder, guys, please don't be ashamed to write your questions in the comments. We are looking forward to them, and we are ready to answer all of them. So, as many questions as possible. We are just glad to hear all of them. We are here to communicate to you, first of all. Okay, Anton, let us then switch to our plans for 2022. And what is the main thing waiting for us in the future in
So,
2022?
okay, sorry for repeating things which I just talked about, but the main goal of ours, and I believe the only goal of ours currently, is to start the closed alpha as soon as possible. And just taking account and bearing in mind this goal, we can talk about things which we should do in order to achieve this goal. First of all is to solve all the problems with networking, because it's crucial. Everyone who had ever played any multiplayer PvP game knows how it's important to have a stable connection, to have good ping, and generally to have the good infrastructure to play with other players. And that's why it's so important that I can't even emphasize this enough. So, but it's completely technical things, and usually players can't never see it. They can only feel it, if it works good or if it works bad. Secondly, we should work on polishing the game, getting rid of some bugs, and making core mechanics better and better. I mean, all the mechanics connected with parkour and movement, firstly. And thirdly, it would be the general visuals of the game, just starting with in-game interface and just creating interface for things which are just not covered with any kind of buttons, metrics, and all the other signs and feedbacks which can help people understand what's going on. And fourthly, I believe it's working hard with our community and promoting the game, because Well, maybe if Julia finds time for that in the current QA, we just can put some time into discussing this topic. But generally, as I've said already several times in this talk today, you should be good at promoting your game. So we would be looking for any opportunity to promote the game, to make more people know about it, and increasing our player base and getting more wish lists, of course, because it's very important for us. So I believe there are these 4 things and 4, tasks we should accomplish during this year.
Anton, a good question has come. Maron asks about our marketing plans. I believe it is more about our distribution plans. Will it rely on selling the copies of the game, or will it be focused more around in-game cosmetic purchases?
Okay, guys, honestly speaking, and it's still a tough question for us, because in order to answer it, we should not only have our own opinion about what's good or bad, but also we should have a look at the stats of the game. I mean, it heavily depends on the way the closed alpha would work. So we see the numbers of players, so we see the number of time people are ready to invest into the game. That's why well, sometimes people would tell us that, oh my god, you haven't thought about it and it's very bad because the thing you should decide from a very early beginning. Well, I don't think that it's that terrible, because I've seen many examples of multiplayer games which were designed in one way and turned into another way. I mean, and that's why I think that a multiplayer game, a modern multiplayer game, can be sold in both ways. I mean, as pay-to-play, free-to-play, and sometimes even a mixture of these things, and still being comfortable and nice experience for players. I think it's just the question of being honest with the community, which I'm doing right now. Honestly speaking, we're still considering how it's better to do it, because I think that if you have a good gameplay and people play a lot the game, and you have a stable player base, you can just think of a good way of earning money with the game, which would be comfortable both for the community and for developers. Sorry for not giving a straightaway answer, because currently we're still, as I've said, figuring it out.
Yeah, still we should mention that our main focus now is the alpha testing, which will be completely free, and we want to see all of you on it for sure. And yeah, it will show us a better way probably how to distribute the game. But if you have any ideas or your opinion about it, just write it into the comments. We are always glad to hear them. Right?
Of course.
Of course, yeah. As far as I know, your game runs on Unreal Engine 4, but what do you think of Unreal Engine 5? You were thinking of porting work on a new engine. Anton, am I not mistaken that UE4 stands for Unreal Engine,
Sure,
right?
of course.
Then please answer the question.
Sometimes people think that the game is made with Unreal Engine, and Unreal Engine is a wonderful tool, but Bestow is developed on Unity, actually, on Unity 3D. Sometimes people just very confused with the situation, because most action games like ours are done with Unreal Engine, and I can't say that it's a good or bad tool, because I personally never worked with Unreal Engine, but maybe at the very well, once maybe I just opened it to have a look on something and made some kind of a map prototype for some kind of idea, but it was so long ago that it wasn't even Unreal Engine. It was Unreal Engine Development Kit, if you remember what it was. Why we chose Unity? The answer is a simple one, because in our team there are people and were people at the moment of choosing the engine who were good with Unity and who knew how to create prototypes with Unity engine. That's it. Nothing else. If we were having experience with Unreal Engine and our team members knew how to use it for prototyping, I believe we would use Unreal Engine. I personally don't have any preferences because it heavily depends on the task which you are dealing with and with the resources you do have. That's all. That's why it's somehow working this way.
Thank you for answering this question, Anton, and let us return to our plans then. A question that I get quite often on our social media networks again is okay, will the game face the alpha testing and release the way it is, or are we going to add some new characters or maybe change the map somehow, just like we did in the past?
Okay. It heavily depends on how everything will work out and what feedback we would get during the alpha testing, because if people would ask for some changes in the game generally, in game mechanics, we would of course work on these things in the first place. But you know, usually most multiplayer games do their best to provide many characters at the very beginning of the game during the release stage. Well, I would just say that it's hard for us to make a lot of characters. Currently we do have 3 characters, 1 beast, a werewolf, and 2 raiders, Yudoko and Zealous. We would love to add more characters, but it heavily depends on how the development would go. But we do have ideas about new chars and we would love to add them. So sorry for that I can't say anything with a firm, but we need to be frank with you, and well, we would try to add new characters, but you know, making a character, it's not like drawing a concept art or making a 3D model or even making animations. It's lots of playtesting and figuring out how this or that character should work, what abilities he or she should have, and in what way it collaborates and works and balances with other characters who are already presented in the game. Well, but still, after we managed to make Yudoko, I think that we already have enough experience to at least be able to figure out what amount of time would take for us to make a new char. Of course, it heavily depends on what this or that char is, because if we have some unique and unusual mechanics which hasn't been in any way presented into the game, or some parts of these mechanics are not presented to the game, it would take of course more time than making something which relies on the previous experience.
Yeah, but still there was a little hint that you could find in our last article that we posted on Steam, for example.
Yes, you can find some hint about this question, right? If you are patient and read the article to the very end.
Yeah,
or just scroll
so
it down.
the most attentive subscribers can have some ideas about this question. We're not giving them straight, but yeah. So we are always ready to listen to your opinion, what we have in plans for you in the future. Okay, Anton, the next question is, are we going to take part in any big gaming events? Or, by the way, maybe there are some events that we want to discuss that happened in the past? Yeah, in the past year, I mean.
Yeah. Well, honestly speaking, we are not a kind of a team which is, you know, really event focused. That's why we spend more time on development and working with our community rather than visiting some, you know, some stories. But last year we took part in DreamHack, we take part in DevGam, but DevGam is mostly kind of professional conference of people who are sharing knowledge and experience and showing what they've managed to accomplish during the last year. I think that there would be several events which we wouldn't miss. So just keep an eye on our social media posts, and we would be able to tell you in advance where you can find us and where you can just maybe see some our interviews, some new trailers, or any other interesting information which is usually put forward during the events.
Anton, a very good question. Will it be possible to record the game on the alpha and, for example, put it on YouTube, or will it be NDA list? So what about streaming? What about video recording?
Okay, first of all, I would say that if you are a streamer and you are interested in Beast Tower and wanna be among the first people to get their version of the game and permission to stream it freely, just join our Discord and just ask Julia to help you. Just write, I'm a streamer and I want to stream Beast Tower. Give a link to your Twitch, YouTube, or any other networks that you use for streaming, but mostly we're interested, of course, in Twitch and YouTube. And then you may get into the short list of streamers who would be just invited to the alpha testing in the first place, and with whom we would do our best to work as closely as possible. I mean, maybe playing together, maybe giving some interviews or any other interesting formats which we can or you can think of. So it's the first part of my answer. The second part is that yes, of course, we would like to give the permission to stream for everyone as soon as possible, because, well, it's common knowledge and we must be honest that streaming is the very important, if not the main important way of promoting games today. Because I personally, before buying any game or just give it a try, if it's a free one, I always go to YouTube or to Twitch and watch some streams just to see how the gameplay looks like. And sometimes I even would find a video without no comments, so I wouldn't be spoiled by the words and emotions of a streamer. That's why, yes, we're interested in streaming, and we will give exact instructions when the closed alpha is out, what's going on with streaming. But just as I've said in the beginning, please feel free to contact Julia through our official Beast Hour Discord to get into the short list, so you would get the very first information and being among the first people to stream the game.
Yeah, guys, so it's very easy. I sent a link to our Discord in the comments if you haven't joined it yet. So you just join Discord, you find me. You can find me either by my nickname and the hashtag, or just in the admin group. It is just Juice. Very easy, and you write to me, hi, I want to be a content creator, please add me to the list, and I will need only your email address, and you are going to have all the information about the alpha, about its launch, and about the streaming policy and things like that first. And probably we will give you even some exclusive materials like footages or things like maybe things that we haven't thought of, but if you have some ideas, we can help you with that. So just contact me and I will give you everything that is needed and add you to the content creator list, just you to be the first to follow all the updates and news about the alpha. So the link is in the comments. Anton, so the next question is very close to the previous one. So how can people follow the updates not to miss any news of the project?
Okay, I would suggest sign up for the alpha testing. That means that you would at the same time got our our regular newsletter, because we usually post newsletters not frequently, so don't be afraid you won't be spamming your email, but with the most important and interesting news and some exclusive content, because we are very thankful for people who subscribe to our emails, and it's very, very important for us. And secondly, you should follow our social media, which we said this phrase maybe already for quite a times during this QA stream. But yeah, social media just gives all the freshest news possible, because we do our best not to miss anything and that you keep updated. And thirdly, if you want to get some exclusive content earlier than it would appear in our social media, and maybe get some information which is not so widespread, is to join our Patreon. So we had several tiers with different access to different information, so you can easily choose the one you like and get access to most important things and the information which you are mostly interested in. So as I've said, 3 variants you can do: signing up to the email, following social media, and joining our Patreon. That's all.
Yeah, surely come into our streams, which we always give you a link to on our social media channels again.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we would love to see you on our next streams. Guys, and we are slowly winding the stream up, so if you have any questions left, please ask them now. We would be very glad to answer them. Or we will meet on the next stream next month, I believe.
Mm-hmm. So I currently don't see any questions in the chat right now. So Julia, maybe we should just pick up a question from the list of ours, and during this time maybe guys can think about some other questions.
Yeah, probably we should, but it could be a little bit complicated because we've covered everything.
Yeah, we've covered
actually.
everything. Okay.
Yeah, we have a question. Thank you for saving us. If I only want to be an independent streamer, can I become a content creator? I mean, if I'm vaping whenever I want, maybe doing a B-style video on my schedule.
I'm sorry if because I believe I don't really know what vaping really means, because for in the universe I am living in, vaping is usually losing your progress when the alpha test is over.
I'm smoking something.
Yeah, so if you can just formulate what you mean about vaping, it would be nice. Sorry for my English.
I believe that Roman means that he's an independent streamer, so probably not a big audience, just from streams from time to time, something like that. If I got it correctly.
Okay, so we don't.
But I'm not sure, Roman. If I am mistaken, just please correct me.
Well, okay. So audience-wise, we are not people who are. Okay, so we are not really, we don't care much about if you have little audience or if you're just a beginner. First of all, we are looking at the quality of content you are producing. If you are nice with people, if you criticize in the way that you give some constructive feedback, or if you're frank with your emotions and you're respectful to your audience, and the quality of video is nice and the quality of your audio is nice, we will be happy to work with you. It's not a problem, because we believe that it's first a person and then the content, because good professionals or aspiring professionals who are really eager to achieve a good level, they will always be have a very positive impact on the game. That's why don't be shy about contacting us and asking for opportunity to stream the game. We are always happy to help people because we are in this ourselves. We have no support from, I don't know, some third parties. That's why we know how it's hard to start your career, and we would be really happy to help you and maybe to give you some advice, or maybe think about some interesting collaboration which would help you to grow your audience and for us to get a good streamer who is working on our game. That's all. Simple as that.
Yeah. Anton, are we open on the fan ideas like character prototypes?
Well, we're actually ready to listen to any ideas and maybe any fun art you are ready to provide, because if you're doing some fun art, it means that you are spending time to help us making the game better or helping us to promote the game, and it's just priceless. So that's why we're always thankful for any type of any fun-made content about any images, ideas, stories, comics, anything. Just don't be afraid to post it in our social media and share it with other members of the community. Just, I would ask for just keep you in mind that there are other people who are watching your creation and be respectful for them. That's all. And if we talk about implementing ideas of community into the game, of course, it has a huge impact onto the game, because during the development we had to change our prototype several times because we showed it to different people who like this and that games, to some friends of ours, some relative of ours, and we would get sometimes very tough critics, but a constructive one which helped us to become better. And even if your idea in the way you formulate it and wrote it down in social media or in your personal email to our team, it's not just get into the game or maybe even get rejected. Don't think that it has no impact, because any idea, any interesting thing, even if it's not implemented directly, it can help us to think about some aspects, some things which we didn't manage to think before, or can push us in some other direction which would help us to find a better solution. So we just encourage you to write things like that and to offer some ideas. We would be really interested in figuring out what you, even before the game is available for play, think about Beast Tower and what are the ways you think to make it better. It's really important. I just completely 100% frank with that.
True. Guys, still, if you have any questions, if you have any ideas, if you have any feedback, please contact me on Discord. Contact me or just write it in the chat or in any social media channel. Just feel free to do it. We will talk to you. We will consider this idea, maybe discuss it with the team, and everything that you write to us helps. So yeah, feel free to contact us any time, any way you feel convenient.
Sure.
Anton, I believe that we should wind up.
Yeah, I think that we had quite a good talk. Guys, I thank you all for being with us, with asking questions. I really appreciate that you're asking things which are deep and are important for the game. So please keep on doing these things. Don't be afraid to in any way to confuse us or maybe asking some question which seems not really easy for us to answer, because it's better for us to think about it right now answering you rather than facing some problem which we just neglected or didn't think about when it's already hard and we would spend more time on solving it. So thank you again. Please stay tuned. Follow us on social media if you wish and have an opportunity to support us on Patreon. and see you next time, and the beast will come.